Hi chess friends, today we are going to witness how Vidit beats Shirov. Vidit plays with white, Shirov is black. Vidit starts with knight f3, Shirov plays d5, d4, knight f6. This opening is called as Grunfeld reversed symmetrical variation. c4, c6, e3, bishop f5. This game transposed to Queen's Gambit, Slav defense, main line. Knight c3 out of the opening book. C pawn takes d5 pawn would be the book continuation. e6, knight h4 attacks the bishop. Bishop e4 moves it to safety. f3 attacks the bishop. Bishop g6, bishop d2, bishop e7 makes way for castle. Knight takes bishop. H pawn takes knight. Vidit opens the h file. Queen c2, d pawn takes c4 pawn. Bishop takes c4 pawn. Knight b d7. Engine suggests to castle on the king side, but humans are afraid to castle when there is an open file. Vidit castle on the queen side. a6, king b1, moving away from the half open c file. c5, black wants to open the c file. g4, c pawn takes d4 pawn. E pawn takes d4 pawn. Knight b6 attacks the bishop. Bishop b3, rook c8 pins the knight to queen. Queen d3 unpins the knight. Knight f d5, knight takes knight. Knight takes knight. f4, Vidit pushes the f pawn to open the e file as the king is stuck in the center. Queen d7, extra protection to the f5 square. f5, g pawn takes f5 pawn. G pawn takes f5 pawn. E pawn takes f5 pawn. Rook d e1 pins the bishop to king. King f8 unpins the bishop. Rook e5 forks knight and pawn. Knight f6, rook takes f5 pawn. Rook h4 going after the d4 pawn. Bishop c3 protects the d4 pawn. b5 preparing b4, which will force bishop to move away from the c3 square so that rook can win the pawn on d4. a3 stops b4 thread. Bishop takes a3 pawn was played. Best move is rook takes bishop on c3. Let's see the continuation. B pawn takes rook on c3. Queen d6. Rook e5. Queen takes a3 pawn. King c2. Game is almost equal. Back to the position. Bishop takes a3 pawn. If white captures the bishop with b pawn, then rook takes bishop. Queen takes rook. Queen takes rook. Black wins a pawn and black's pawns are connected, whereas all the white's pawns are isolated. Black has the advantage, but black missed a continuation, which we can see in the game. Back to the position. Vidit played the best move. Rook takes knight on f6. G pawn takes rook. B pawn takes bishop. Now Vidit has two bishops for a rook and a pawn. Rook h3, another inaccuracy by black. Best move is queen g4, bishop c2, rook c4, queen d2, rook h3, bishop b4 check, king g7. White is much better. Black can play for draw. Back to the position. Rook h3. It seems like black's two rooks attacks the bishop and will win the bishop after queen moves. But white has the resource of bishop b4 check, which saves the bishop. King g7, rook g1 check. King has 2 squares. King h6 will lead to checkmate in 3 moves. Let's see it. Bishop d2 check. Rook e3. Queen takes rook. King h7. Queen h6 checkmate. Back to the position. So black played king h8. Rook g3. Rook takes rook on g3. H pawn takes rook on g3. King g7. Bishop to c2, threatening queen h7 checkmate. Rook h8, controlling the h7 square. If queen comes to g4 square, after king moves to h6 square, bishop d2 will checkmate the black king. But if black's queen takes d4 pawn, which will control the g4 square. So Vidit played d5. Now black's queen cannot come to d4 square. Queen a7, queen f3, and black resigned on move 35. Let's see why black resigned. The game would have continued as queen to g1 check, king to b2, rook to h6, queen to g4 check, rook to g6, bishop takes rook on g6, f pawn takes bishop on g6. White has a extra bishop and a nice passed pawn on d file. There is no way to stop this pawn, so black resigned. If you like the video, share, subscribe and like. Thank you. Post your suggested games in the comment section.